Hey, you sexy lover, how's it going? Anyway, it has been a bit, I will tell you that. I mean, it's been a while since I've done like an actual video like in person, especially like me doing a vinyl review. I was originally intending to make this video for a January release, but with like scheduling and me actually getting a job to make sure I get money, I will say I'm just glad that I'm making this video now. I want to get straight into the point. So let me talk about the first album I'm going to be reviewing first. Now, it is Lil Baby and Lil Durk's project, their album, The Voice of the Heroes. Now, I will say, I have reviewed this before, but I can't even remember if it was like, a couple months back, even like a year or so. It has been, oh God, I'm sorry. I just have like too much shit in my throat to like even want to speak. I want to spit that shit out, but I don't have a bucket. Anyway, it has been like a couple months, maybe even a year since I've reviewed this. I hardly remember what I even said in that review. Now, I will say, I think I do remember that I liked how Lil Baby and Lil Durk go back and forth. I mean, plus another thing, what is with this packaging? Like this pressing? What's the point of having these folded if you're not going to add anything in there? Like, usually when I get an album, I like to take a look at the art, but these guys clearly know that they haven't made specific brilliance here. I mean, I know they make some good bangers, but I'm just intending that this isn't like the only one that doesn't like have like unartistic ways of showing their pressing. I mean, I actually own The Weeknd's House of Balloons. He basically does the same thing, but it's all pure black. Anyway, enough of that. Why don't we just go straight into the review?
Change my name to the kid as a baby go. Keep it Drake like I started up OVO. You can get a percent, but I want the most. Got a house with a lake, so I bought a boat. About to switch up a play that's an audible. State to state, private jet with some model hoes. Had to run up more dollars than followers. Me and Bank take the week off in Cabo. Like a gamble, I'm playing a lotto. I'm betting it all, cause I know that I got them. Remember me, I was driving Impalas. We don't beef if it's problems, we solve them. I remember that dude through revolver. I bought from my partner, he died in an argument. They was hating, that's why I'm way farther than them. Remember asking my mom where my father been. And ain't no talking that fire what I'm trying to get. If niggas cuffing these hoes that.
Okay, like I've said before, that I did enjoy this album, and I'm not saying it's the perfect collab project ever. I mean, there are a lot of other collab projects I've heard that some I would say are quite trash, some I would say they're actually great. This one, it's basically left on its decent route. Like, yeah, Lil Baby and Lil Durk do tend to pass the torch back and forth and give us like some creative, good flows as well. But of course, since Lil Baby knows that he's like outtaking every feature, it's basically his album mostly. I mean, Lil Durk barely has a word sometimes, and the features, it's basically your standard, I would say like, 75 to 50, mostly because of Rod Wave. And another thing, the production, of course, sometimes the production could be quite standard on most songs, especially songs like Okay. Basically, that track is like what I feel like would be the most standard trap song you would ever hear. And I feel like this whole album should be like better than that. I mean, I'm told the deluxe is going to come out this year, so maybe we'll get like a much more good standing tracks than we have on this. I mean, hats off, despite Travis's verse. I mean, it's basically still a great track, and I would give the feature artist a good thumbs up. The production, like, very uneven. Basically, I want to say I'm going to give this whole album 6.6 out of 10. Now, I'm going to move on to the next album. Basically one of my favorites of all time. My grandmother got this for me. I love her for it 2 times more because of that. I mean, because of the internet is a treasure trove, if we're being honest. It's one of the best albums of all time. I mean, I like how it comes with this nice little book. Well, basically kind of like a mini brochure. I mean, sure, it gives us the good track listing and all the production shit and stuff. Shout out to Ludwig. But, I don't know. I mean, I'm told that there's like a special edition. Like, it comes with a screenplay. Because this album was intended to also be a movie. And I guess that never happened. They have footage. They just don't have it as a movie. If you guys know where I could get the screenplay, I mean, I have seen it online, but I would like to have the hand-printed version. If you guys know where I could get the hand-printed version of the script, the screenplay, I would love that. Anyway, why don't we just go on into this one, all right? I don't know how, I don't know why, but this manages to basically improve itself with every listen. I mean, every track is just better than the next. It tells a whole story. It tells how I would want to, how we're lonely, how we're all obsessed with finding someone to help us not be alone. And oh, I no longer feel alone. I'll never feel alone. I got my baby boy right here. I mean, now I got 2 versions of my baby boy. He's dark and absurd, while the other one's light and comfortable with everything. I even got Awaken My Love. But now, my favorite albums are basically Complete by Gambino. I would say, with production-wise, vocals, great production, great features from other artists that aren't listed but are basically in the whole production credits. I mean, shout out to Janine Aiko as well. I mean, Pink Toes is underrated. This is basically a pure spring, summer, autumn, winter. Gambino managed to make an album that's fit enough for your whole year. I love it. I give this whole album a good 8.2 out of 10. And that would be all. It's perfect. I don't understand how Fantano can give low reviews to such great albums. Anyway, on to the final one. This is one of the albums that I've been very excited to show on here. Bo Burnham's Inside. This is going to be great. I mean, this whole thing is just great. I loved his special. When I heard that he was going to be releasing a vinyl, I was like, you know, Mom, you should give this to me as a Christmas present. That way I don't have to complain about shit. You know, if I'm being honest, I never really... Now that I'm getting older, I'm basically asking for, like, less. I mean, I'm mostly just focusing on music for right now. Everyone's got their phase. Like, their whole emo shit and ever stuff like that. But this, I guess music is my life now. I literally have that as a painting at my school senior. It's called senior paint day, but we paint in the parking lot, which is what happens. I love how he basically has the courage to put art, fragments all over his album pressing. This is probably like my, if I'm being honest, this is like my new favorite album pressing. I mean, there's no one else I know that puts so much into pressing their own albums. I mean, Gorillaz. I have 2 Gorillaz. I have 2 Gorillaz albums, and I really wish I could get more, but they're really hard to find as well. I mean, come on. How can you say no to this face? No one can say no to this sexy motherfucker's face. You just can't. This is what album pressings are meant to be. Why is no one trying anymore? No one seems to be trying anymore. Bo tried 5 years. 5 years of doing nothing. He gives me something. He gives us something. I love this. I'm loving the pressing. I mean, and another thing. Since this was a Christmas present, this was a Target exclusive. So the vinyl is yellow. I have a lot of vinyls that seem to be like hard candy color coded. And I mean, I have Kids See Ghosts. That's blue. Oh my God. I accidentally threw that bear mask in that video, in this video, and apparently I hit a hat rack. Fuck. Jesus. I don't know how this shit works. I don't know how this shit works. Jesus. Ugh. I'm sorry if you could hear background crap. That's me. Ever since I basically started high school, I've kind of became a multitasker. I just wanted to get everything done so I could sleep. How the fuck does this hat rack work? Anyway. Fuck. I'm closing the door. Anyway, let's get started. There. Okay, even with this album, I've never gotten, or I don't think I've ever heard like a comedy album before, but Bo Burnham's Inside manages to keep a source in my heart. Like, he manages to be different with every song, making sure that there's a story to tell from his life and basically the whole world around itself. I mean, I would love to see a live show now. I would definitely love to see a live show from the man right here. I mean, another thing I will say, fuck the Grammys for being racist, and also for being very, very insecure about your song choices. I mean, you literally had to snob this guy for no reason, saying it's not a comedy album. It's a fucking comedy album. You give Weird Al album awards for not being a stand-up albums. You're basically cucking what's it? Is it cucked? You're basically cucking our boy Bo from getting a Grammy. You're just assholes. And this album is worth more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and say this album is a derivative 9. It's a derivative 9 out of 10, you worthless motherfucking critics. No, not critics. Critics are fine. I'm saying, goddamn, fuck the award society. I love this shit. 9 out of 10. So, yeah, this video is now over. I hope you guys liked it. And, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm barely saying shit anymore. I was not prepared for this one. Next time, I will be fully prepared. And basically, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever the hell you want. And I'll see you guys next time.